Hey, what's good, lads? So UFC Hernandez versus Dolidze just wrapped up. I'm going to be breaking down the entire card and matchmaking as well, recapping the whole event. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Um, let's go straight into it, dude. With the first fight, um, Cody Brundage versus Eric McConico. Um, I'll be real, dude. I think Cody Brundage should have won the fight. I honestly think there's more of an argument for 30-27 Brundage than Eric McConico win here. Yeah, I don't know what the judge was saying. I did. It was actually a really messed up scorecard as well because I think two of the judges gave McConico the second round, which was like incredibly clear to Brundage. It was literally just Brundage control time the entire time. And he also landed some damaging shots as well. So yeah, the judges were just smoking some crack today. But yeah, fucking crazy. Eric McConico. Oh my God, gets the win. I honestly think he could have won this fight legit, dude. Like I think at the beginning of the third, Brundage was quite clearly gassed. Um and McConaughey, honestly, if he just like kept it at range, he probably could have finished the fight anyway. But he decided to clinch him up. Moment of low fight IQ, by the way. If you know, you know. Um so yeah, dude. Just really messy, dumb scorecard fight. We're honestly quite lucky that a lot of the fights were finishes today because these judges were absolutely cooked at their jobs. We need to fire Ben Cartilage is specifically. I'm pretty sure he was like the main one that was messing up today. But in terms of like next fights, dude, I think just Cody Brundage might as well just cut him, bro. I mean, like, yeah, he arguably could have won this fight, and like the Mansur Abdul Malik fight, he did all right. But like, dude, this guy's just a. We all know he's a bum. He's not gonna like do much. His last win against like Julian Marquez, like his career is like so weird, and yeah, I don't know. I'd say just cut him to be honest. But for Eric McConico, dude, I say feed him to Bo Nickel to be honest. Yeah, I think Eric McConico has like all right striking. He's actually kind of active in the clinch as well. I saw him like throwing knees and elbows. I think he's the type of fight that um we should give to Bo Nickel next. You know, this wouldn't prove that Barnacle's legit, but it would prove that he's not an absolute bum, you know? I think that actually makes quite a lot of sense. Eric McConaughey also just beat Cody Brundage as well, so you know there's an argument there that it's a higher opponent. But yeah, I think I'd say this is next. And yeah, the UFC is probably going to give Barnacle a bum, so I'd say make it Eric McConaughey. But yeah, next fight, guys. Um, I'm not really going to address this much, but Gabriela Fernandez is actually on a pretty decent win streak now. I thought there was a chance she may have gone fluked here because of the fact that you know she's put together a really good streak of Wang Tong and Kali Judas, which has aged incredibly well for her. Yeah, both of those fighters impressive to defeat, and now she's on a three-fight win streak. Um, yeah, did really good stuff. I don't care about the next match though. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, Uros versus Gilbert Urbina. You guys, Erceg is a good friend of mine. You know what I'm saying? I actually um, did a lot of the pad work with him leading up to this fight. And you know, it was a little bit of a sticky situation in the first few seconds, dude, but he ended up getting it back. Brutal KO in the end. You know, a little bit of corny ass moves after, but we got it done, dude. Um, yeah, man. Crazy stuff by Erceg. I think I'm pretty sure that pad work helped out. Pretty sure he shouted me out in the post-fight interview as well. Um, so yeah, good shit by Uros. And I think he should fight Carlos Leal next, dude. I think this is really fun. Obviously Carlos Leal just got fraud checked pretty badly by Muslim Salikov, but I think this fight makes a lot of sense because they're both like fighters that go out there and are essentially KO or KO'd in the first few rounds. So yeah, I'd say this is a really good next matchup. Um, yeah, we find out if Carlos Leal is actually like somewhat legit, or we could get Uros a nice win. So yeah, uh, I'd say that's a pretty sick fight. Yeah, moving on. Panama gets it done, dude. Vámonos. On to the next one. Elijah Smith versus Toshiomi Kazama. This is fucking brutal, dude. Yeah, a little bit of a sticky grappling match for the first, a few round. I'm pretty sure. I know for the beginning of this first round. Um, Toshiyama Kazama is pulling leg locks and shit, just pulling for bottom position. The guy does train with Tetsuro Taro here, so he is legit in that realm. And I think he did show a decent amount of skill here, but I mean that shit just doesn't really translate all that well in MMA. Like your opponent kind of has to just be a retard in order for that shit to work half the time. Um, and yeah, Elijah Smith, bro, he just like he ended up like just surviving those moments, and then he ended up just like slamming Toshiyama Kazama. It was pretty brutal, like right at the back on the back of the head. Two nasty follow-up shots. I'll be real, bro. That probably took like a solid 4 years off his life. But yeah, in terms of Elijah Smith, his next opponent, I think he's kind of legit. I think he could do well here, dude. Like he has a solid grappling base, which we saw in his last fight with Vince Morales as well. I think that hands need to be properly tested for him, and I think I have like two opponents that I could put up against. I think Daniel Marcos is solo, maybe a bit too far of a step up, but I don't know, dude. I think Marcos isn't actually that amazing. Um, it's just he's like a solid striker, and he's like kind of a clinch him up in terms of his grappling. I think Elijah Smith will be able to counteract that, and we could probably get a decent fight on the feet. See how good Elijah Smith is in that realm. If you'd want to build Elijah Smith up as a prospect more, I'd say probably a fight with Miles Johns would be next, in my opinion. Again, test him on the feet. Um, yeah, basically just fights to test Elijah Smith on the feet and get him closer because he is on a two-fight win streak now. So yeah, decent stuff. Probably will be picking him in his next fight. Yeah, moving on to the next one, dude. Julius Walker versus Rafael Cerquera. I did say leading up to this that this is light heavyweight and shit probably is gonna happen, and I don't think Julius Walker should be all too favored in the fight. And yeah, dude, I think he got a little bit fraud checked here. A lot of people were expecting Cerquera to just get backed up against the cage and finished in the first round. Um, but Cerquera actually had like decent moments in the first. He actually got the better of the first, and it kind of proved to me that Julius Walker isn't all that good at range. He's like a crafty guy when it comes to like being in the clinch and up against the cage, where he can throw knees and elbows and grapple decently and get control time. But at range, dude, he's it's kind of a big weakness, and I definitely won't be picking this guy against like a guy like Azamat. You know what I mean? So yeah, he ended up getting rocked quite a few times in this fight, and he kind of just won it based off grappling control time and just up in the clinch. Sakara, I think you should just cut him. I mean, he did do decent in this fight, but he's still on 3. I say cut him. He might come back with some wins off the regional, but I say cut him for now. Just have to be fair. And in terms of Julius Walker, he did get the win. Um, I say put him against Umar Sided. Both of these guys are quite boring light heavyweights. They're both like clinch 'em up type of guys who win like close fights. Well, always in like close fights. I'd say put them up against each other, get rid of one of them. You know what I mean? And then maybe whoever wins this, I'd say probably look towards the rankings again. So yeah, maybe put that on the Paris card, short notice. I don't know how realistic that is, but that'd be sick. But yeah, moving on to the next one, guys. Eric Anders versus Christian Leroy Duncan. I'm not going to waste too much time on this. Leroy Duncan ended up putting a pretty nasty finishing sequence pretty early on with a spinning elbow and then follow-up shots afterwards. Yeah, he's actually a solid like 20 through 25 guy at middleweight, dude. I'd say next fight, that's actually a pretty good one. I'd say put him up against Cesar Almeida. Cesar Almeida, for some reason, hasn't fought since his brutal knockout of Abdul Razak Al Hassan in January. For some reason, he's just been out this whole time. Um, but yeah, I think this would be a really fun fight. Obviously, both of these guys have pretty decent power. Christian Leroy Duncan actually showed some decent mixing it up in terms of the striking in this fight. He was actually looking quite dynamic. I think this would be really cool. Obviously, for those who don't know, Cesar Almeida is a glory kickboxer. Had some fights with Alex Pereira in the past. So yeah, I think this would be pretty good. It could be a boring clinch mob fight for sure, with Christian Leroy Duncan, but I don't know. I think there's a chance this would be like fight of the night material. So yeah, I'd say maybe put this in the Brazil card, something like that. Yeah, it's be fucking sick. Um, but yeah, book that shit, bro. But yeah, moving on to the next. Miles Johns versus Gina Matsumoto. I see some people saying that this was a robbery. Dude, those Miles Johns numbers were so inflated in the first round. Like, I do not know what the points people were seeing. But apart from that, it was a pretty clear rounds 2 and 3 to Matsumoto. Um, yeah, I see some people coping about this online. Like, fuck me, dude. Yeah. I think Matsumoto definitely could have taken a less risky approach to the fight, though, by mixing it up. Like, I don't know why he was just trying to prove himself in a striking war here. He definitely could have made this more decisive, for sure. Um, please, Matsumoto, use your brain next time. But yeah, dude, I think in terms of next opponents, Junior Matsumoto is pretty good. I mean, this guy took a Rob Font fight on short notice. Arguably, could have won that fight. Arguably, I still would lean towards Rob Font though. And then he decided to have a striking war in this performance. I think he deserves a ranked opponent next to. I really do. Good performance against Rob Font. Short notice, did favor for the UFC, and then had a striking war here against Miles Johns. So yeah, I think in terms of the next opponents, dude, I'd say Kyle Phillips is pretty good no-brainer. Phillips is kind of just scraping on for the rankings. Just got a loss against Vinicius Oliveira. He needs to fight in the unranked region, and I think G Matsumoto is the guy. Um, quite interesting fight. I think Matsumoto would probably just mix it up and beat him, but yeah, I'd say that's next. But yeah, moving on to the next major underdog here. Um, yeah, Andre Fili just ends up getting it done. Uh, yeah, for some reason, bro, Christian Rodriguez is so good at getting these prospects out of there. But Andre Fili just was able to outstrike him. Christian Rodriguez wasn't dominant enough with the grappling at all. And yeah, this was pretty clear. For some reason, it was split. Fucking crazy. I don't know if it was um, the same judge who who I critiqued before. Um, but yeah, fuck me, bro. We're quite lucky that a lot of these fights ended up finished because fuck me, these judges. So yeah, dude. Uh, Christian Rodriguez just it seems like the formula fucking works, you know what I mean? This formula. Yeah, good for Andre Fili. I don't really care who he fights next, to be honest, because he's just kind of like a little bit of a journeyman 50-50 fighter. But Christian Rodriguez, I actually think an interesting matchup for him would be let's test the formula again, dude. Jose Delgado is probably, I'd say, the best unranked featherweight right now. I'm pretty sure he's actually only 1-0 in the actual UFC. He obviously has wins on the Contender Series, but I'm pretty sure he's only 1-0 and he wins against Hyder and Mill. Dude, let's test the formula again, man. I'd say book this fight. Real fans of the UFC know what is up with this matchup. Obviously, Christian Rodriguez always beats the prospects. I'd say match him up with the best prospect at featherweight. And yeah, I'd say Jose Delgado should be looking towards a ranked opponent if he gets this one in dominant fashion. Um, yeah, if you know ball, dude, you know this is gonna be a hype fight. Um, so yeah, and also Jose Delgado hasn't actually been tested in the grappling. That's the one place he hasn't really been tested. We've seen he obviously has really good hands, but yeah, we need to the grappling does need to be tested, and yeah, I think this would be a really interesting fight. So maybe book this for Noche. That card needs some fucking help. Uh, although Rodriguez did take some damage, but yeah, just try book it. So yeah, let's move on to the next one, dude. Oh my gosh, I said what the fuck, man. To be fair, this was a bantamweight, and I think Ode Osbourne kind of looks like he's already been planning to move up or some shit. Like he actually looks pretty fucking big for the division. But still, even still, bro, already Osborne's losing decisions to Ronaldo Rodriguez, a fighter that basically just isn't skilled at all. Like, so yeah, for Erceg to have a downfall of beating Pantoja, in my opinion, to then arguably losing to Oda Osbourne. Like I literally would have been mad if they gave Oda this. Um, so yeah, dude. Yeah, Erceg just keeps getting clipped with the check hooks, bro. Like it's a major issue. I was actually gonna pick Alex Perez against Erceg, um, specifically for how much I think Erceg's overrated on the feet. Um, and yeah, dude, it kind of showed. Erceg majorly won this off grappling moments, and yeah, just disappointing performance. Uh, what a, at least it's not like a Dominic Reyes type downfall though, where he like gets KO'd and shit. But fuck me, bro, this is just not a good look. But he ended up getting the win in the end anyway. A lot of parlays probably got saved from that shit. But yeah, in terms of the next fights, dude, I'd say this is a fucking banger. Obviously, Erceg, this was an unranked win for him. I don't think he deserves a shot up the rankings. Uh, I think he should honestly be looking down after that performance. And Ulanbekov's actually on a streak right now. I'm pretty sure he obviously got that win over Azat Maxim. I'm pretty sure he's got some other wins too. I think one of them was against like this white guy, like Carboner or some shit. I don't know, but yeah, I think this is the fight to make specifically for that JDM versus Islam card. Tagiro Ulanbekov is obviously a teammate of Islam, and Steve Erceg is from Perth, the exact same place as JDM. So yeah, dude, I say book this for November. Plenty of time for Erceg to recover from a fight where he didn't take much damage. Um, yeah, dude, I think this is a really fucking good fight. Um, Fucking book this UFC. Fuck me. This would be fucking hype. Maybe prelims, like late prelims type thing. So yeah, book this shit. But yeah, moving on to the main event, guys. Anthony Hernandez gets it done. Yeah, I saw some people picking Roman here. I like Roman a lot. I'm actually quite a fan. Um, I'm obviously a big believer in Georgia. They put some bans on some certain stuff that fucking helps society. But yeah, I'm a fan of Roman Dolidze, dude. He's honestly a badass, and I mean, this guy lives up in the mountains, bro. This guy like really is Georgian to the core. So yeah, I'm a fan, but yeah, I was picking Hernandez, dude. I think this was a pretty no-brainer. Like, Dolidze does have dangerous submission off his back, but he does gas, and the only reason he was able to go 5 rounds in the fight against Marvin is because it was just so low output. But in a fight against Anthony Hernandez, you're going to be just you have this like basically Marab type figure in front of you, and it's kind of crazy, dude, because Anthony Hernandez basically Marabbed a Georgian in front of Marab. So yeah, crazy stuff. Um, yeah, dude, I think Roman Dolidze had a pretty wrong approach to the fight. I think in the first round he was just trying to just jab with Hernandez and just try out physicality him. I think he should have like actually tried mixing it up with the knees or maybe even try um just imposing his will and grappling or something. Um Also he should have mixed it up more with the striking. I mean, please man, just throw some low kicks or some shit. Like the fact that he was able to piece up Anthony Smith is quite embarrassing for Smith. Um and light heavyweight, I guess, too. But yeah, Hernandez Hernandez does fight a lot like Merab. And yeah, he was even able to get like a lot of boxing combinations off here. The guy obviously he has like the chin of one of those Mexican blobs as well. Um, and yeah, bro, I saw Guru as well hating on Hernandez in his live. Like, bro, this guy actually is quite entertaining. He doesn't have much power, but I honestly enjoy seeing these fighters that like to drown people, like Hernandez and Merab. Um, and also because these guys actually have personalities, bro. Like, I hate guys like fucking Umar and Evlov because like they do the same shit, but it's always like privileged and it's always fucking they have no personality. It's always the same, you know what I mean? But I don't know, I like Hernandez here. Um, so yeah, kind of sad for Roman. Hopefully he'll bounce back. But in terms of their next fights, I think Roman Dolidze versus Brennan Allen's a really good fight. Both of these guys are like kind of grapplers, all right on the feet. I'd say this would be really interesting from a grappling perspective as a stylistic matchup because of how good Roman is off his back, and I think Allen's honestly dumb enough to maybe fall into some trap here. So yeah, I'd say definitely match this up. Allen's like ranked number 11. Dolidze's probably going to be ranked 10. Yeah, just book it. None of these guys are like really looking all that high or all too low. So yeah, book this fight. This would be interesting. In terms of Hernandez, I'd say honestly, bro, I think there's going to be a major shift in stuff at middleweight. Obviously, DDP Chimaev is going to happen. I think DDP's honestly going to win, and I think from there we're going to see quite a bit of movement where the winner of Kara Imavov's obviously going to get a title shot. But I think honestly, DDP might just end up moving up a division as well, but which would change like a lot of shit. But I think at some point we need to see this fight specifically, Dorita versus Hernandez. Maybe make it next, maybe not. But I think this fight definitely should happen at some point. Both of these guys are like marathon type fighters that trying to drown people. Hernandez more so with grappling submission, and Randy Dorita more so with clinch knees and knees to the body, you know. So yeah, I think this would be a really interesting fight next. Other than this, I don't think Izzy's gonna want to fight either of these guys. I think he's looking for Sean Strickland or Paulo Costa. So yeah, dude, I think this is next. But in terms of Hernandez's chances of like becoming champion, um, I don't have all too much faith. The thing is he has a good chin and he is able to drown guys. So I would honestly kind of favor him maybe against a Chimaev, or even a Dricus to be honest. But I don't know, dude. I feel like if you have someone who could like clip him early, or maybe even submit him early like a Chimaev, I think that would be a major issue. But I would honestly favor him against quite a few middleweights, which is why I think he might become champion at some point, dude. I think there's a really good chance. Um, the guy's style really does work. He is a guy with a really good chin who's able to just drown you really well. And yeah, I really wouldn't be surprised if he becomes champ at some point. Um, and yeah, dude, looking up for Anthony Hernandez, I actually did really good on this card as well. Um, pretty sure I went like 7-2 for picks. So yeah, bro, we are bringing back the prediction rate. Um, yeah, guys. Apart from that, that was this fight card. Really excited for DDP Chimaev next week. Um, and yeah, if you haven't subscribed, do so already. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.